everybody. We are back again to finish off
At least we'll
NFL.
Not completely.
No, we'll probably do a post video about the Super Bowl and the last minute changes, coaching
changes. The Super
changes.
Bowl is a ratings bomb.
Yes.
Every year, whichever network gets it is pretty much guaranteed 100,000 or 100 million people at least.
Yeah. So it is time for the Super Bowl.
Before
we talk about Super Bowl, though, before we do our predictions for the Super Bowl, talk about Super Bowl, we do need to cover the Pro Bowl.
Which was a pool of mediocrity, if I have to tell you.
This is the first year they actually went to a flag football game.
I think the only purpose was what they said is that they didn't want to injure anybody, but...
I don't know. The Pro Bowl used to be something that you were proud of. That, you're a 4-time Pro Bowl player. Now do you say you're a 4-time flag football player? I mean, on your baseball card, you get I'm a 4-time flag football champion. I mean, it's not. I don't know.
Not even Peyton and Eli could save it.
The skills challenge looked pretty good. I sort of do like the skills,
Maybe
passing, catching,
the highest vertical, the fastest speed. The biggest, all of this and that,
all that stuff. I did like that. That was actually pretty interesting. But as far as the game itself, boring. And it even ended controversial. Peyton was mad because they didn't go by the rules of the game. They would just let Eli's team kneel it down. Peyton came out there. He was legitimately angry about losing that game. So, I don't know. It was just sort of weird.
Speaking of officiating.
Roger Goodell.
We got the commissioner of the league saying this.
Yes.
And I quote.
The commissioners are dumpster fire this week. Go ahead and tell him.
There's no problem with our officiating whatsoever. I think it's the best it's ever been.
So we just come off of the Bengals
Chiefs controversy
and
questioning,
missing a call and having to redo a play, and that's the best our officiating has ever been, according to Roger Goodell.
Sometimes you really have to question how people think.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Maybe in their small world where they're completely unattached with reality, maybe it is the best it's ever been. But if this is the best it's ever been, then, man, it used to be just horrible. Because it's pretty bad right now. So, I don't know. Yeah, they need to
seriously reevaluate.
I think officials should be paid more and evaluated more. They should be, they should be able to really
the screw-ups we've mentioned just on our show, on our show, I mean, there has to be something done.
Just in the last 5 or 10 years, there's been championship games won and lost on calls from referees that were really bad.
I think it's time for them to take, the word is
accountability. Yeah, so, but that's one thing the NFL does not do. Take accountability for anything. They just want to make money. But anyways, yeah, that was a joke. That was a joke. The Pro Bowl game, they need to either go back to playing football, which is, this is football we're talking about, right? Where you catch the ball, you throw the ball, you tackle the people who gets the ball, and we need to either play football, or just go ahead and get rid of it. If it's going to be a joke, there's no reason to even have it there. Although I did enjoy the skills game, but I would rather have. You could do the skills game and have a game. Maybe instead of having a 4-quarter game, maybe just have a 2-half game. Maybe just shorter, but still play football.
Do it like college basketball. You have 2 20-minute halves. Maybe
just 2 20-minute halves or 2 15-minute halves. Just something. Just play real football to where. And remember, the players used to be paid like, if you won the Pro Bowl, you got paid like $75,000. If you lost the Pro Bowl, you only got paid like $40,000. So there was incentive to even win the game once you got there because you were going to make twice as much money winning. Now I don't know. There's no incentive for it. There's no energy of it. There's no life in it.
It's like executive meddling is what happened to it.
Yeah, that's sort of crappy. But anyways, that was that. Let's go ahead and jump into our Super Bowl. Our Super Bowl are
the Kansas City Chiefs out of the AFC
and the
Philadelphia Eagles out of the NFC.
Yes, we have Philly versus Kansas City. Right now, the line
favors the Eagles by 1.5.
1.5. Eagles are minus 1.5. Going through the injuries, we'll jump into the Chiefs first. Of course, Patrick Mahomes is the biggest name that's on the injury list. Right now, his ankle is doing better than it has since he injured it. So he's not at 100% speed, but Andy Reid did say that they had 2 fast-paced, maybe not full speed, but fast-paced practices this week, and he held up through both of those fast-paced practices. And Mahomes said that he hopes he'll be close to 100%, which is,
90%.
90% of Holmes is better than 100% of most other quarterbacks. So if he can get up to where he can get any of his elusiveness back, it will definitely be a plus for them. But he's looking better. But there's no way he's going to be 100%. But he's actually looking pretty decent.
We assume he will play.
Oh, he will definitely
play.
Along
with Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who's on the injured list.
Yeah, no, Clyde Edwards-Helaire got activated. So Clyde Edwards-Helaire will be available during this game.
If you're a Chiefs fan, you might also have to look out for Kadarius Toney and Juju Smith-Schuster's statuses.
Yeah, they are questionable, although they're expected to play. The one person who will not play is McCole Hardman,
who injured his hip.
He re-injured his hip in that Cincinnati game, so he has been put back on the IR. He's not lived up to what they were hoping he would have been this year. He was a super fast player coming out of Georgia, and he's had some struggles this year, some injuries.
And now on the Eagles side, there's barely any to talk about.
The Eagles side, they've got Lane Johnson, Avonte Maddox, and Cam Jurgens.
2 of them are offensive linemen, so they need to make sure if there's a chance of them sitting out that they need to play.
Yeah, they are questionable, but the Philadelphia Eagles are surprisingly and miraculously super healthy right now.
And they've been gifted, it's like a gift from the heavens that they don't have much injuries to talk about.
Yeah, Jalen Hurts got injured there a little bit and missed, 3 games he missed? But now he's back 100%. And honestly, they are one of the few teams in the history of the Super Bowl. They are actually starting the same 22 players in the Super Bowl that they did in Week 1.
Every player on the roster?
Every single starter is playing in the Super Bowl. How's that?
Talk about
how you like me now?
That's a nice fresh cheese stick if I've ever seen one.
You wonder why the Philadelphia Eagles maybe have looked good all year? We hadn't really paid attention to that fact. They are starting every single starter in the Super Bowl.
That's astounding because usually
normally
some injuries.
You lose 3 or 4 or 5 during the year, and then you have to have people step up and fill those spots.
The Eagles, this year's Eagles team has been blessed with health.
Blessed with good health. And that blows my mind that they're literally starting the same players in the Super Bowl that they did in Week 1. All their starters are good. Good to go. That is odd, man. And again, that's probably why they have looked so good. They had a couple players out through the year.
A couple of hiccups.
Hurts was out, and then they went up and didn't look as good. But man, when Hurts came back and everybody got healthy again, they looked like the same machine that started out the year, man. So,
now we go to our best stats from each player.
Mm-hmm.
Patrick Mahomes this year has over 5,000 passing yards. Pretty on par for him.
Yeah, he was 435 for 648, 41 TDs. Only 12 picks.
That's a good quarterback.
Yeah, 5,250 yards. That's a pretty good quarterback. Yeah. Whenever you're throwing for 41 touchdowns, you're doing pretty good.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
Their top rusher was the newcomer,
Pachenko, who they got off of the late draft.
Yeah, he came in, carried 170 times for 830 yards and 5 TDs, which is good for the short amount of time that he was in there.
And of course, who's their best receiver?
And now you do have, remember, we do have Clyde Edwards-Helaire coming back, so you're going to have Pachenko and Helaire in that back. Now Helaire might be more of a receiving back because you've got Herdman that's out, so you might see him do a little rollout, little dump off, little screen, little short pass. And him, but yeah, of course, their best receiver is not a receiver.
It's their superstar
tight end. Yeah,
Travis Kelce.
Mr. Travis Kelce has 110 catches for 1,338 yards and 12 TDs. Yeah, those are wide receiver numbers.
This is his fourth I think this might be his third Super Bowl as a starting tight end.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That is pretty good, astounding numbers for a tight end.
He's starting to get greatest of all time numbers. as far as a tight end. He's going to be, and if he continues another couple of years, he may end up being the best tight end that we've ever seen play the game.
He's got a few years left down the line where he can produce this kind of amazing stats.
On the Eagle side, we got Jalen Hurts was 306 of 460, threw for 3,701 yards, 22 TDs, and only 6 picks.
Not to mention what he's done on the ground too, because he's got that ability to scramble.
Yeah, you can't give up that he scrambles, and he's got some rushing yards there too. But he's not throwing for 5,000 yards, but he's throwing for 3,700 yards and only throwing 6 picks in the middle of that. So he's not throwing 20 touchdowns and 20 interceptions.
He's not throwing ducks.
He only threw 22 TDs, but he only threw 6 picks. So he's not going to lose the game for you. He can win it, and he's not going to lose it for you. Their best runner was Mr. Sanders.
Miles Sanders.
He had 259 carries, which is a pretty good load. The Eagles are a run
first team at heart.
They are. He had 259 carries, 1,269 yards, and 11 TDs, which was really good. Their top receiver was Mr. ex-Tennessee Titan.
A.J. Brown producing significant numbers.
88 catches, 1,496 yards, a record for an Eagle receiver. His first year. Wasn't good enough for the Titans. So, becomes, in a sense, a franchise record
for the Eagles.
For the Eagles with 11 TDs. So yeah, that's the tell of the tape. Not a whole lot of injuries other than Mahomes and Herdman.
Both of them average around the same amount of points.
Both of them, the Chiefs average 29.2, the Eagles average 28.1.
But there's a difference in points allowed.
The difference is the defense. The Chiefs average ended up giving 20. The Eagles average giving up
7.
That is amazing. They are the top defense in the.
They shut down that 49ers team very quickly.
Yeah.
And they ran the ball like crazy, and they shut them down.
Yeah, they only average giving up 116 passing and 99 rushing per game. So that's going to be the
tail of the game.
Sort of the tail of the game for me. The weather looks fantastic. Going to be partly cloudy, 65. Over and under is set at 51, so they're not expecting it to be a super high score, and me neither, because you've got the number 1 defense in there, so I don't think it's going to be super high scoring. I think it probably will be a 3-point game, I'm actually right on 51 points. That's where I'm sitting with my pick is 51 points. Who do you think? Who have you got for the game? We'll go and throw our picks out there.
The Super Bowl is a hard game to pick. Usually,
it is a hard game to pick.
Unless there's a huge favorite, like a huge, ginormous favorite.
But you've got the number 1 passing defense against the number 1 passing offense, one of the top passing offenses. In the history of the Super Bowl, that favors the defense.
That favors that defense, because we've seen over the years how
the Seahawks against Peyton Manning.
I saw that disaster headlong.
We've seen a bunch of those great passing teams come in. Get shut down. I don't think Mahomes and Kelsey is going to get shut down, but I probably will lean towards the Eagles.
Their health is such a big factor.
You got all 22 starters completely healthy, and you're allowing 7 points a game, average. 200, little over 200 yards and 7 points a game.
The best defensive unit.
That's going to be tough. Especially now, if Mahomes was 110% and they had Tyreek Hill back,
that would be a big danger.
That would be hard for them to cover.
Everybody there.
Hardman, they just lost Hardman. He was a big speedy. He was a 4.43 guy.
So they'll just have to settle with being methodical this time around.
Yeah, and with Mahomes being 90%, I'm not going to be wrong. I would take Mahomes 90% over any other quarterback, and probably in the league. Him, Burrow, and Josh Allen, I would take those 3 guys 90% over anybody else in the league. So Mahomes at 90% is fantastic, but I just don't know if they've got enough of it right now. They may be wore out. They played some tough games. I mean, they played some really tough games.
I mean, like, in considering their past, like, Kansas City had to squirm by Jacksonville and had to claw their way past Cincinnati, while the Eagles beat the dog crap out of their 2 past opponents.
Yeah. So the Eagles are on a roll. They're the best defense. Now, Personally, I'm going to be rooting for Kansas City. I'm not a Kansas City fan, but I am fond of Kansas City. There's been, we are Tennessee Vols. If you didn't know, this is a Smoky shirt.
That's a bit of an irrelevant point in an NFL video.
But there are a lot of Tennessee players that have went through Kansas City, and there is a Tennessee offensive lineman on Kansas City right now. Who's his name?
Trey Smith, the starting right guard.
The starting right guard, which is one of the best offensive linemen in the country. Thank you very much. So there's a lot of Tennessee players that have went through Kansas City, which has left me fond of Kansas City. And
Tennessee does have a player on the other side, Derek Barnett, but
he is
injured.
He is injured, so he's not playing. So I can root for Kansas City and feel good about it. Also, as a Dallas Cowboy fan, I hate the Eagles. That makes it really simple. I cannot root for the Eagles.
Unless it's against Tom Brady in the past.
Oh, man, what if it was the Patriots and the Eagles?
I remember that.
Yeah, you remember that one?
I remember that one. That made me sweat. That was
so hard. But anyways, yeah. In my mind, it says the Eagles should win. We're going to put up a score 27-24. That is our 51 points. So we got the Eagles for 3. So so we're saying probably Eagles minus 1.5.
The Eagles get their second Lombardi trophy is our prediction.
Yeah. Now, will I be unhappy if it goes the other way and Kansas City wins? No.
But I won't be surprised.
But I wouldn't be surprised if the Eagles don't
win that Super Bowl.
Yeah.
If Mahomes does get the Super Bowl, it is his second in 3 appearances, though.
Yes, I'll say that's another thing. Again, I'm not a Kansas City fan. I like the young superstar quarterbacks, and I would love to see the next Peyton Manning, the next Tom Brady.
Those are going to come around.
The next Joe Montana, get that second and third Super Bowl, and let's start this next dynasty because our childhood's over now.
My childhood is over.
There is no Eli Manning,
no Tom Brady,
no Peyton Manning, no Drew Brees, no Ben Roethlisberger,
no Phillip Rivers.
That whole generation, and then my generation before that, the Montanas, the Aikmans.
They're in their 50s.
That's it. See, my generation, your generations has passed now. So it's time for that next generation. And I'm really excited to see that quarterback that will go, bam, it's me. I'm that guy. I want to see that guy, and then I can start hating him after he wins 4. So. But I'm ready to see it, I'm ready to see that next rivalry and that next big thing, So,
on a side note, outside of those picks, we will mention a few off-season moves that just happened.
Okay.
The Titans boosted up their offensive coordinator. They promoted a guy up.
Yeah, they went internal and picked
Tim
Kelly and brought in their offensive coordinator.
Their fan base gave him a lot of crap for it, but you can't do worse than what Todd Downing did.
Todd Downing was terrible. At least Vrabel now has got somebody that he wants there.
Instead of Todd
Downing. Imagine being forced to have that every day. Was there any more coaching moves? I'm trying to remember.
Not too terribly many.
I don't think there was much of that.
Actually, the 49ers did hire a new defensive coordinator, Steve Wilkes, the former intern head coach at Carolina.
Oh, so Steve Wilkes has got a good defensive mind. He's a bear. He's a sort of a bear-in-your-face type of guy, which is great for defense. That might be. The 49ers always seem to keep a good defense going, so that's probably not a bad thing for them. Tom Brady is officially retired.
No matter what,
he's retired. So we say hallelujah, thank you. I mean, now that he's switched teams and he's got a little bit of a realism to him,
and he's mentally free from that year because it was a tumultuous.
That was tumultuous. Weird. So we wish him the luck. He is taking a year off. He is going into Fox broadcasting, but he's taking a year off, so it won't be until the next year until we see him in the booth. I'd love to see him and Peyton do something together.
They would have to go to the same network.
Yeah, but I know it'd be fun to see them. Even if they did a show together on some other network, other than what they're doing now, that would be pretty sweet. So we got Brady retired. We still don't know where Aaron Rodgers was going. We don't know what he's doing.
I heard he's going to set 4 nights in the darkness and try to think of what team he's going to pick.
Well, some people are saying maybe Denver now that they got Peyton out there.
Denver?
Denver does drag in old great quarterbacks and win a Super Bowl.
You realize who you're going to have to trade, right? The $250 man, Russell Wilson. You're going to have to swap Russell Wilson for an older quarterback, Aaron Rodgers.
Hey, Denver, after Denver brought in Manning, they haven't made a smart move since they got rid of him. So
Hackett.
But we don't know. He may go to the Jets. So we don't know where Rodgers is going. We don't know where Derek Carr is going. Derek Carr may go. He should go somewhere really soon.
I've heard that he wanted to be cut instead of traded.
We've got the draft coming up. He has a no trade clause, so he gets to pick where he wants to go anyways. We got a great draft coming up, so we got some really good stuff coming up that we'll cover after the Super Bowl. But that's about it for this video. We hope you had a little fun. Let us know what your Super Bowl pick is down there. Give us a score. Let us know what you think.
Do you feel like you want to take flight, or do you feel like you're the Indian chief?
Do the Chiefs? You know, are you the Indian or the eagle flying above? Anyways, be sure to give us a like, hit us a subscribe, share us with your friends, hit the groovy baby button over, and we'll see you next week.
See you next week.